everyone, and welcome back to the FIA Manufacturers Series in 2019. This is pre-season once again. This is round number 7 and we're here at Willow Springs. Interestingly, in the Group 4 cars, and this track is very much a handling circuit. Over one lap there is still an issue of a balance of performance, but imagine the tyre wear in the actual race. It's a bit insane. However, we go on to the qualifying lap now. As of course, we fuel burn for the majority of this to really get our fuel as low as we can, to really try and get the best lap that we can, in order to try and even get close to some of the handling cars. Going through there, we could use a bit more of the track as we come into this right-hander here. We're going to stay in 5th gear. I had been deciding whether to go into 4th or 5th. I wasn't too sure. I ended up staying in 5th just to stop my car understeering too much to the outside, and it actually felt better in the end to do that. Braking market is where the cliff starts on the left hand side. We turn in here, we nail that pretty okay as we then come into this right hander. Had to brake a little bit too much there. We pull it back though and try and accelerate out as fast as we can as we come up to this right left here. You want to get as close to the curb on the right, chuck it into the left, get on the throttle as fast as you can. We could use a bit more of the track there, so again not the greatest of laps at this moment in time. As we continue now to this long right-hander. This is where the tyre wear is going to destroy most cars. As we come into here now, we up it to 6th gear. We're looking for that 150 or 100 metre board. 200, 150, there's the 100 metres. We brake just before that appears on this on level with the car basically. And round we go. We just clip the dirt there, and we're going to clip the dirt on the pit entry as well. As we head towards the line, we get a 16.2. Our best is a 15.9, so we are 3 tenths off that best, but when I say that was my best, it was like one of my ultimate laps, a 15.9, so getting 16.2 is not too bad. It's about my average basically. You get a bit away from me there as well. So there's PR1 JM Bree in pole position, followed by Devil. So the handling cars getting up there. The Scirocco, best of the front wheel drive handling cars there. Slent and SVDR in the Scirocco as well. Calster in the Huracan, that's a very good quality by Calster. Indyfood there in the M4. And then Atho as well in the M4 there. Now we finally get P8 there in the TT. Followed by Sutsu in P9 in that Lexus. Another BMW of Veloce James there. Followed by TG Tenka in that Mazda Atenza Group 4 car. Hyundai there for Eric. And then Sentai in the TT as well. Audi Partners, woohoo! Fab in P14. Followed by Snake in P15 in that Jaguar F-Type. P16 there in the Ford Mustang for Matty. P17 for Vences. P18 for Jomas. And P19 for Azorian. So some names you will have seen in the last manufacturer's video race that did appear on the channel yesterday actually. Now, normally I would say go watch the live stream, but the majority of this race is in this video. So you might not have to go watch the live stream, but if you want the actual reactions, do check the description box below. But this is one hell of an action-packed race in the grand scheme of it. Obviously the handling car is going to disappear into the sunset. And then it's basically best of the rest. Who can do well here? As we go through the first corner, you might notice that the traction control light is flashing away there. I am using traction control. Obviously, there being a front wheel drive cars, I'm trying to reduce that front tyre wear as much as possible. Best way to do that, you can see it flashing away there already. You know, every time it flashes, that'd have been more tyre wear on the on the tyres basically. So it's helping me control that tyre wear. So it's very well worth doing. It slows me down a little bit in terms of gear changes and everything else, but in the long term, overall race time, it helps me better that it's on. So that is why it's on, if you wondered with that. Anyway, we'll leave that corner. You can have a look at the gaps on the left hand side. TT Tenka is now 1.1 seconds down, so made the move on Sutsu there at some point, which gives us a little bit of breathing space. Allows that pack behind to battle with themselves. Allows us to keep with the slipstream of Atho, Indyfood and Calster up ahead, and also the handling cars even further ahead than that. And it potentially allows us to have a little bit of a battle with very little pressure on our shoulders, knowing that there's somebody behind. Because the one thing with Willow is that you can capitalise very quickly. If one car goes by another one, you can follow that car, usually quite easily, and get the job done basically. Now, one good thing about this TT, it's fast on the straights. As you can see here, we're catching up to this M4 Group 4 car. We just back off here. Didn't feel like I had the ability to dive Atho on the inside there, but you can see we are catching. And as we come into this right hander, you're going to see Atho brake. There you go, a bit of a dab on the brake, and I don't have to brake for this corner, so instantly I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't expecting the braking. and I'm very close to Atho here. So in the previous race I'd done on this, I made a move here on Carlos, so I went for the same move on Atho down the inside, trying to get the car stopped. Just missed the apex slightly, but lots of space on the right hand side. So that was a very, very good dive bomb, sort of lunge. You know, it's very well done. There's space on the outside. Atho saw it coming as well. We managed to keep that position. Now, I really need to pull away as fast as I can. Unfortunately, I make a little bit of a mistake here. Clip on the inside of that curb. Cost me a lot of apex speed there. So Atho actually pushes me along a little bit here. And now we've got a lot of work to do now to catch Indyfood and Calster and potentially some of the others, but they're pretty much further in the distance. Obviously the Volkswagen Scirocco, best of the front wheel drive cars really in terms of handling and tyre wear. TT is up there as well, don't get me wrong, it's very close between those two cars, but the Scirocco just a tiny bit better. So going through here now, we are up ahead of Atho at this point, and obviously the BMW is not as fast as the TT, so we're going to advance the one time in this race to a bit further on now. You see Indyfood's just made a move on Calster. We did actually extend our gap to Atho, and Atho's coming back. So the reason Atho is coming back is because Atho's gone for a very interesting strategy. So on his tyres, he's got racing hards on the front and racing mediums on the rear. Obviously the fronts are going to be taking an absolute killing here. You know, the understeer, the fact that weight's all over the cars on the front tyres in these FR cars, with the engine being there, etc. In my front wheel drive car, it does everything basically, the front wheels, so the rear wheels don't do anything. So, you know, Atho went for an interesting strategy there with a hard tyre. I didn't think the Audi TT it would work, but obviously for the BMW, it's working out so far. He's keeping with me, and he's going to have better pace at this point. You can see that he's now all over the back of me. He's going to try and look to the outside, but unfortunately for him, I'm in a TT. So I literally stay in a slipstream, I start firing away, and you can see that on the radar. Atho is pulling, or moving further away basically on the radar. Going down into this right-hander once again. We're looking to try and get as close as we can to Calster and Indyfood. It's nice that we did catch them up as well, because obviously we stay in that slipstream then, and we can get in this battle, get in the thick of it for this 5th position. As I say, best of the rest pretty much, in terms of all the other cars. And you can see Calster getting very close here, I'm getting close as well. Just come off the throttle a little bit there. As we come into the first turn, we get very close to Calster. Look how close we are. We nearly run Atho off the track there. That was obviously not intended, but front wheel drive understeer. Look how close we get to Calster. I'm not sure if there's a slight touch there. I'm not 100%. Calster was running a little bit wide anyway, but we managed to get on the inside, and Atho follows me through there, just pushing me along a little bit. So we're going to get a bit of an SR down, I think. Yep, there it is. Just with that push along, you do get that. If you bumper draft someone, if you're the bumped, basically you get the SR down. Pretty weird, don't kind of get it. Similar to Tokyo. Even so, we've gone up a position there ahead of Calster, and then we have Indyfood up next. And he, you know, him and Atho were taking that curb on the right really far in with the tyre. I couldn't do that in this car because it's basically the rear would lose itself straight away. So I was a bit unlucky with that. You just see Atho now, much more grip on that right hander, gets on my inside here. I'm actually going to let Atho go at this point. So I'm just letting off here, letting Atho go and trying to pull in behind now. Try and keep my position. Atho's obviously going for a different strategy here. And I just nearly understeer off there. So I'm going to slow Calster down a little bit. And we lose quite a lot of time to Indyfood there just from doing that. And Atho's going to continue on for another lap. We come in the pits, of course. We're going to put medium tyres on. No fuel required at all. And you can see we've actually used a lot less fuel than everybody else. Imagine if fuel was involved. We'd be miles ahead. But yeah, we don't want those kind of races either, to be honest. So we come out here. Calster's just inside me there, so we managed to accelerate this time out of the car rather than being stuck inside them, a bit like when we were stuck inside Force you would be, or Carl Williams now, at that St. Croix circuit a while ago, where it just paddles us into the barriers. So Jomas is up ahead there, who hasn't stopped yet, and obviously Atho stayed out, so we are going for a bit of an undercut here. So Atho staying out, we should in theory, you know, overtake Atho, but we'll find out at the end of this lap whether we do or not. So Indyfood going for the move on Jomas there, trying to give him a bit of room. Went on the dirt, which forced him out wide a little bit more, but still a clean move there by Indyfood. Very well played. As we are then next up to try and overtake Jomas as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's where I post a lot of stuff. There's my social media in the bottom left hand side. Just that timing is amazing. We continue on now down towards this right hander. You can see Jomas putting on his hazards there. That's a signal that potentially he's going to let us go. Or it could be a bit of psychology moves. We don't know. But usually for Jomas, it does mean he's going to let us go. So fair play to Jomas. Lets us go down the inside. It basically means he's not going to fight it if I go for it. And he actually lets Calster through there as well. He was trying something different, I believe, in this race. But yeah, as you can see on the left hand side, Atho, it says hard tyres, so that's the proof that he was on the hards on the front and the mediums on the rear. Obviously it just reads the front tyres. So we do overtake Atho. We actually need to catch up to SVDR. So SVDR got quite lucky there that Jomas was there, because I have a very sneaky suspicion Indyfood would be right next to him going into turn 1, and that could have made a bit of a mess of SVDR strategy. Fortunately it doesn't, so SVDR is out ahead, and you're going to see SVDR just disappear into the distance. But you can see on the TV camera Atho and Calster fighting away there, and of course we're behind Indyfood, so we can now think about Indyfood at this moment in time. Calster's 1 second behind, not in the slipstream. We can focus up ahead. Can we get 5th place? Could we even catch 4th place position? As we come through this left-hander, we stay in 4th gear. This is just to minimise tyre wear. We've got to go an extra lap, remember, in this stint versus the other one, because it's an odd number of laps. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. We came in at the end of lap 6, not the end of lap 7. And here's the impact of slipstream here. Look how fast we catch up to Indyfood. It's actually insane how fast this Audi TT can be on the straights, but it is needed. As I say, the front tyres are doing everything here, turning, accelerating, and they've got all the weight on them, and they are doing a little bit of braking, even though the brakes are to the rear. But you can see Indyfood goes to the right, doesn't really defend that position. Obviously he sees that the Audi TT is going to get past irrespective in this early stage. The Audi TT, a faster car in the earlier stages of the race, to be fair. It can be okay here. As I say, I got 15.9 as my ultimate lap in practice sessions, so you know it is fairly rapid. But later on in the race, of course, that's when the tyres really impact it, and it really slows down because it can't maintain those apex speeds. As you can see, we're staying 5th gear in the race as well, and again that's just to try and avoid tyre wear. 4th gear, we could be abusing that turbo a bit more, therefore spinning up the wheels, and yeah, you don't want tyre wear here. You're trying to manage those tyres as best as you can. So currently in P5, which is where we want to be. We would love to be higher, but very unlikely. You can see SVDR is accelerating away from us, so it's all about this battle for P5 now. Me, Indyfood, Calster and Atho, who is going to get P5, and you can see Indyfood is all over the back of me at this point. So I see he goes to the right a little bit here. Now obviously straight line speeds, TT wins. So I see I just pull away enough here, I could come straight across Indyfood, take that inside line, and he can't really do much about it at this point. So he's going to have to sit behind me here, and I'll stay to the inside here to avoid any sort of dive bomb or anything like that. But we have seen Indyfood's been driving very clean this race, so you know, big shout out to Indyfood here for the clean driving. Really nice to see, absolutely brilliant. I'll always, you know, state bad driving, I'll always state good driving. It's nice to see Indyfood absolutely race fair and clean here. It's good stuff. Shout out to Indyfood. Anyway, lap number 10 now. We have 4 laps to go, 10, 11, 12 and 13, and we have a train of 4 cars here which can get this P5 position. So coming around here now, you can see on the TV camera potentially, and it goes off, well, there we go, I just gave you a quick glimpse in the rear view there. There's a lot of cars following us and it's quite scary at this moment in time, because we've got to try and survive now. We're getting to that point of the race where front wheel drive cars become atrocious and everybody else can catch up, because they're putting the power down to the rear wheels basically, not just the fronts. So the apex speeds reduce massively in the front wheel drive cars, and instantly you see Indyfood again all over the back of me. Goes for that same sort of move, can't really make it work, so I'm going to do the exact same as I did last time, get over to that inside line, then Indyfood can't actually get it done, and we can keep that position as best as we can. As we come around here, we go a bit wider this time because we know Indyfood's not going to go for that move. He didn't do it last time. Could be a bit of psychology, of course, could then go for the move, but I kind of realised it wasn't. The Audi is good on its brakes, to be fair. As we come out that corner and we continue on, I was a little unsure, so if you watch the live stream of this race, I was a little unsure whether Indyfood was flashing me, because he was very close to me and he wasn't going for the moves I normally expect of Indyfood. So I did ask him after, he went, no, I wasn't flashing, we were generally racing, so you know, fair play, as I say, absolutely fair play. So coming into this right-hander, you can see the moves happening behind now. Atho and Indyfood are side by side, and Atho just gave me a little bit of a push there to get me around the corner. But unfortunately for me, it gives me a bit of understeer. So Atho's going to go around the outside at this point, and he's going to get that position. Now, I didn't want to fight Atho too much there, so I did back out of it a little bit. I didn't want to cause myself to lose more time, and Indyfood just tapped me there. That's just a misunderstanding of where I was on the track, and Calster actually gets through as well. So Indyfood loses out in 2 positions there. Atho gains a ton during all of that. Now on the fresher tyres as well, Atho is just going to go far, far into the distance. So that battle for P5 is now going to be a battle for P6 with 1 less car, but at least it's 3 different manufacturers. Let's see what happens in the remaining 2 laps here at Willow Springs. You can see Calster very close to me now in that Huracan Group 4 car. Obviously going to be struggling on its tyres just as much as the TT here as we turn in to the corner. Get it hooked in right in the inside there. This time we don't touch the gravel, so we don't lose as much pace as we accelerate towards the line. As I say, 2 more laps. This is the start of the penultimate lap here. What can we do to survive? You can see the lap times have dropped off significantly. 1:17 last lap, 1:19 this lap. Obviously there was a little back off in there at one point to let Atho go on that sharp left-hander into the right, but even so, still a big drop off, and you can see that with the tyres. Look at the tyres, under half of the tyre left already. And this is what we were talking about with like tyre wear being a bit too significant at the moment. Huge, and we're 14 seconds behind the leader as well. Absolutely insane. But we're coming to this left-hander. Calster, Indyfood, myself, we're all still very, very close here. Calster in my slipstream. I don't have any slipstream ahead of me, so at this point, Calster potentially could get some overspeed, could get his nose on the inside. We'll see what happens. Coming down to this right, then the left. Oh, clip that apex beautifully this time. Staying 3rd gear now, and then up to 4th. Just trying to carry a bit more speed out the corner now with the acceleration. This Audi TT loves a good bit of rev, so short shifting sometimes can be bad, but towards the end of the race it's good because you just get the power down. So I know Calster's going to be struggling with his fronts a little bit, so I can see he's staying to the left, so I go to the left as well. Going to this braking zone, we're going to brake, trail brake as much as we can, try and get the car turned in, try and get it hooked up on that inside again. There we go, that's beautiful. As we then leave the last corner, start the final lap here at Willow Springs. Calster, Indyfood, very, very close now. I can see that they're not going to get the overspeed coming towards turn 1, and then suddenly Calster gets a boost, so that did worry me a little bit. Doesn't go for the move there, so I come into this corner, still leading the way on this pack. But Calster now under all sorts of pressure from Indyfood. Obviously, if he'd have gone for that move and it failed, Indyfood would have been right there to take advantage of that. Into the right-hander we go. Just pulled a little bit of a gap here to Calster, 0.3 of a second. I would prefer Calster behind me to Indyfood just because I know that Huracan will suffer with its fronts as well as my car. So going to this left-hander. Let's see if we can see anything on the TV camera for here, because Indyfood goes for an absolute cracking move down the inside. You just see it there. Gets down the move. Gets it done. What a move that is. Down the inside into that right-hander. Absolutely brilliant move. Clean as you like. I wasn't sure on stream whether it's clean or not. But my word, that was a lovely move. Well played, Indyfood now. So I'm going to try and defend from Indyfood for 1-2 corners, basically. So same move again. I want to go over to the right-hand side. I don't do it straight away, and I really should have. So I go over, but I wasn't sure whether Indyfood was like alongside me there. So I gave a little bit of space, and that was a mistake. A big mistake, because I actually could have moved over when we checked afterwards. So we're coming to this last corner, and we're side by side with Calster here, so this is a problem here. I'm trying to turn in as much as I can, but try and give Calster space at the same time. Very hard to go side by side on that last corner. Calster does give me that position back. It's a bit 60-40. Potentially it was my fault more than Calster's, but trying to make the move on that corner is a bit iffy in general, so, you know, fair play to Calster for giving it back. I mean, you know, that's clean racing, and it was a brilliant race. And, you know, as I say, shout out to Indyfood for actually having a clean, good race, good battles, good overtakes. Nice to see. Great race with Atho. Atho actually got slent there, got P4. Well played, Atho. But that's the end of this race. So I hope you enjoyed that race. As always, my logo's there if you want to subscribe. There's a video plays there if you want to watch another race of GT Sport. But that's going to be it for me for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.